So there are a lot of Disney packing videos out there, or what to bring to Disney, whether it's to the parks or for a Disney trip. I figured I would do something a little different because I watched a lot of those videos. So this is actually a Disney unpacking video. So this is the box, or one of the many boxes aside from clothes and things like that, that came with us on a trip to Disney World recently. So a few things that you should know about myself, I guess, before I start unpacking this mess here. First off, I am 30, married, no children. Went to Disney with my mother-in-law and teenage sister-in-law. And I guess the big and most important thing is I was a Disney virgin. I have never been to the Disney World park or Disneyland park in my entire life. I did grow up watching Disney movies, but never made a trip to Disney World when I was a kid. My wife and her mother and my mother-in-law went quite frequently when they were growing up, but for me it was my first time. So I have a unique perspective on this as being an older person who went to the parks without being accompanied by children in any way, shape, or form. Now, the box will contain things that will be useful for both people who are traveling like I was, as well as those who are traveling with children, I would assume, because a lot of the things that are in here are things that you're going to need to bring if you have children as well. So let's just, I'm going to start randomly pulling things out of here. There's no particular order. It's just what happens to be at the top of the box as I work my way out. First off, plastic bags of assorted sizes. This is a smaller one that never actually ended up being open. Plastic bags are going to be a godsend to you in any shape and form, because as we can see, I have larger plastic bags, which that particular one had a rip in it, so that must have been my cat's doing. You might see them pop up in the video as they're walking by. So plastic bags of assorted sizes are useful for either packing snacks, which is another good thing to do for, in our case, we took a long 20-hour car trip down there. So snacks were kind of essential on the trip down there, as well as if you're looking to waterproof any of your gear, may it be smartphone. In my case, I brought my video camera and a camera to film and take pictures of stuff. So if you're going on any of the water rides, it's important to be able to throw that stuff in a bag so that you don't get it wet. Likewise, the ever popular poncho, buy them ahead of time. This is an older one that I had from back when I was younger and did a lot of camping with my family. That's the vacations that we used to take. So get these ahead of time. You can pick them up in the dollar store. If you buy them there, they will be of a decent quality, because my mother-in-law and stepsister had ones from Disney and they were good quality but kind of expensive. They bought them years and years and years ago, so they use them every time they go there. They recoup their losses, but if you're just going there like I was for the first time, to buy a poncho there would be kind of pointless. This is not a paid promotion for this particular bottle of water, but Florida water has a particular taste to it. It's kind of sulfury. If you're not used to it, it can be a little off-putting. Generally brought the bottled water to use when we're in the hotels brushing our teeth or what have you at night. There are plenty of places on the parks themselves that have filtered water, and you can always ask for a free cup of ice water. And if you don't mind the taste, it's a good thing to get. Or let me do some digging. You get yourself something like this. This is Mio. This is a water flavoring thing. I mean, there's Mio, then we have one by Nestea, and I think the rest of these are just Mio in different shapes and forms. You can get like one that turns your water into like a Gatorade, or an energy version. So you pick yourself up a couple of those and you get yourself a cup of free water every time you hit the park, and actually you can get yourself several cups, which is important because Florida is ridiculously hot, especially if you're from up north. We went in October and it was still like in the 90s. I wore shorts the entire time I was down there. Never wore shorts before. Well, I don't wear shorts when I'm upstate much. Okay, this is just a small umbrella. Yes, the poncho takes care of the rain, but if you're not getting a torrential downpour, you might not need the poncho, and that's where the umbrella comes in handy. Umbrella can also be used to keep the sun off of you, which is a good thing to do, especially, you know, if you're not used to being out in the sun a lot. Since I'm an office person, sun was not my friend. But that would also bring us over to this other bag, which is sunscreen. Bring sunscreen. Bring waterproof sunscreen. If you can, this is a particular like spray type of sunscreen. So that was very easy and useful to put on. Likewise, if you miss a spot, you're going to want something to help treat the burns. So again, spray version rather than like the liquid squirty type that you put on your hand and rub around. Just this one, and you're good to go. Again, like I said, assorted plastic bag sizes. The first plastic bag that I yanked out and this plastic bag were both from the dollar store. They're decent quality, so you don't really have to worry. You know, you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. This is a GPS. Like I said, we drove there, 20-hour trip, so I'm directionally challenged. That was useful. Laundry bag, so you can separate your clothing. Obviously, that's kind of self-explanatory. Like I said, I'm just yanking things out of here as I go. Okay, these things are actually really cool. No pun intended. These are like little mentholated sticky packs. So you can open this up. They come 2 in a pack. And if you end up with like a headache, or if you're just really, really hot, you open one of these up and you stick it across your forehead, the back of your neck. It helps to cool you off. That was really nice. We used a couple of these when we were down there. Like I said, not really used to the ungodly heat. Well, 90s not ungodly, but we left in October. It was like in the 50s. If you're traveling, these are always good things to have. These are battery packs. So if you have electronic devices that you need to charge, mainly your cell phones, it's good to have these. There are a few places, either, well, in the hotel room you can charge your stuff, or there are a few places in the parks that you can charge your stuff. But they are far and few between and hard to get to because somebody's always there before you. Likewise, here we have a cable that goes with, not my phone. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to call my mother-in-law there. I was going to mention the reason that the cable's in here. If you plan on using one of those charging stations in the park, even though Disney's not going to do anything nefarious to you, it's a good idea to use a charging cable that does not transfer data, just in case somebody else might be tampering with the charging area. So non-data transferring cable, just transfers power. Oh, yeah, well, obviously, if you're going to be going and you're staying at one of the resort hotels, you're going to want to make sure that you pack, or in this case I'm unpacking, your magic bands, as these will be the key to your entire trip. No pun intended, because this is your room key and all that other fun stuff. I'll get into that a little later, because maybe I'll make these into a series of videos if anybody actually cares to watch these. So magic bands, make sure you bring those. Trash bags. Again, varying sizes. This is a larger size. You may ask yourself, why? Well, at least in the resort that we were staying in, they came into our room to clean like once every 4 days. There were a lot of trash cans, but they were really, really small. So if you have a trash bag, you can kind of throw your trash into a trash bag and use that instead of having to rely on the itty-bitty garbage cans. Also, they make excellent impromptu ponchos for either yourself or somebody else. Just open it up and cut holes in it for the head and the arms, and you're not going to get soaking wet. Let's see what else we've got in here. Oh, another one of those water flavor things. I kind of missed that. So we stayed in a hotel that had microwave and a mini fridge, so we had some bowls. Let me take some of that water out of there. We brought our own plates. We didn't really need to because they were provided. As I said, assorted sizes of garbage bags. Mother-in-law gave us these. These were some of those refillable mugs from a previous trip. You can use them, but you're not going to be able to refill them, as she was probably planning on doing. We really didn't use these. We ended up just, you know, getting free water all the time. The new cups, and they have new cups every year, have little microchips in the bottom of them, so they kind of regulate how much you can drink, as well as if they should be there during that season or not. Obviously, you're looking at Pepto, because we're all adults. It happens. Bring something to take care of that. All right. You also see this giant bottle of Mountain Dew. And again, not paid product promotion, but Disney is Coke land. You are not going to find any Pepsi products there. So if you need your Mountain Dew or Cherry Pepsi or whatever, you're gonna have to bring your own, because you're not gonna be able to get it while you're there. Again, assorted Ziploc bags. These were sandwich bags. My mother-in-law, I should say, ended up using these quite frequently for keeping track of her receipts, as well as grabbing little Disney souvenirs and stuff, which, again, make a series, get into it later. Napkins, things for making sandwiches. There was bread in here at one time, but we kind of ended up eating that. Cereal. Windex, because why not? We traveled there. Here you go. Since we went during October and we were coming from a very cold area to a very hot area, stocked up on that stuff. Those larger bags you saw me pulling out before were this here, like I said, from the dollar store. That's really it in here, aside from like some Campbell's and more cereal and some Pop-Tarts. So that's kind of the majority of the stuff that you want to bring with you to the park, because most of it that I yanked out of here were things that we actually used. You're also going to want to bring a well broken in pair of shoes, probably two pairs of shoes, because while we were there, it only rained once, but when we did get rained on, it rained a lot and for a long time. And we ended up with very soaking wet shoes that took 2 days to dry, even though, you know, we sat there with a hairdryer on them. You don't necessarily have to wear tennis shoes if that's not what you're used to wearing, but you want to make sure that they're well broken in and comfortable. I purchased an extra pair just before the trip. It took 3 months of breaking them in, and even though I had that break-in period, they were still a little uncomfortable with all the walking that you are going to be doing. And when I say a lot of walking, I mean a lot of walking. We were there for a week, and we did about 52 miles. And I see one thing that I neglected to pull out, which is hand sanitizer or like wet naps, whatever you want to use. You're going to be touching a lot of things that a lot of people are touching. So just, you know, you're going to be bathing in this stuff, which this is one of like 6 that we had in here, as well as a large container. Yeah, like I said, that's the unpacking video. Hopefully you found it interesting in some way. Maybe I'll make a series of other videos. Still haven't decided yet. I have some film from the trip, as well as, you know, I can talk about it later. My experience as being a Disney virgin. But yeah, so that's unpacking. If you found it interesting, let me know. If you've got things that you think people should know about, they should take with them on the trip to Disney, put it in the comments below. This is just the stuff that I took with us that I found useful and helpful, and things that we actually use. So I thought that would be kind of a different spin on things. That's really it. If I do turn into a series of videos, look for more later. Thanks for watching.